Hi guys and welcome to a new video. Do you remember last Sunday when we didn't use the term fascism to describe our Prime Minister? When there was peace and good feelings among the fellow Indians. Well, as good as we are capable of having. Here is some news for you. Some people in some countries don't like that. They were like chaos, conflict and violence happening in India. That's geopolitics 101 for you. And this documentary, the Modi question, is doing just that to the internal affairs of our country. Come to think of it, today is 26th January, vis-a-vis our Republic Day. Talk about threatening the sovereignty of this country by the same nation that once ruled over us. From yesterday, or the day before, there has been a lot of incidences of violence in colleges like JNU and the Jamia Millia University. And we don't know how much this violence is going to escalate over the coming days. And do you remember in 2021, there was farmers' protest which led to a huge eruption of violence in the capital city on the same day, and it was also sponsored and supported by the Western countries like Canada. Is there a pattern forming here? According to the government officials themselves, this is the prime reason why the BBC documentary was blocked in the first place, because it is produced by a foreign country, by the media run in a foreign country, especially the country that colonized us at one point. I tried to watch the documentary before making this video and I looked around in the internet, but then I realized that that's probably not a good idea because it's banned and all. So instead, let's read the synopsis of the 2 episodes in the series and let's look at what they say about the Modi question. India is the largest democracy and Narendra Modi has been elected twice as India's Prime Minister, we all know that. Is widely seen as the most powerful politician of his generation. Well, he is a strong force against China. Yet Narendra Modi's premiership has been dogged by persistent allegations about the attitude of his government towards India's Muslim population. This series investigates the truth behind these allegations and examines Modi's backstory. Explore other questions about his politics when it comes to India's largest religious minority. His association with the right-wing Hindu organization RSS, his rise through the ranks of BJP, and his appointment as the Chief Minister of the state of Gujarat, where his response to a series of riots in 2002 remains a source of controversy. Well, how can BBC make this documentary at such a fast pace out of nowhere? BBC had extensively covered the Godhra Riots when it happened, and they had many original footages of the incidents that happened in 2002. And BBC at that time promoted the forensic science lab's report that the fire in the Sabarmati Express was due to an explosion inside the coach rather than some attack from outside. It also supported and promoted the allegations about Modi that we hear to this very day. There were the Tehelka tapes, which was basically a sting operation where a BHP member, a low-level BHP member, allegedly admits that the higher levels of administrative people were involved in the Godhra Riots. The problem is all of these have been debunked now because of the lack of enough evidence. All these footages that BBC had been tampered with and they have been cut in many places. So Supreme Court rejected to take them as evidence. The Tehelka tapes were also rejected because it was not credible enough to show a direct link, a conspiracy. So all in all, the Supreme Court of our country has rejected the allegation of a greater conspiracy by the higher ranking government officials in Godhra Riots. I have made a very detailed video about the Supreme Court's verdict on Godhra Riots. The link will be shared here. Please go and check it out. Now, a lot of people say that the Supreme Court was under the pressure, or the Supreme Court had to take into account the political environment while making these decisions. So one could say that the Supreme Court's verdict in itself has problems. But obviously, you know what is the issue with that claim? If we cannot trust our own judicial system and the apex court in our judicial system, you are basically saying that our democracy is lost. The Supreme Court is not supposed to look at any accounts or look at any environment, be it social, political or cultural, while making a decision. So if you are saying that, that means that our country is basically toast. And once again, we will have to ask, where is the proof for that? Well, I don't think that is a good thing to ever say or think about, especially if you don't have any proof to say that all these Supreme Court judges were actually influenced by charisma and glory of Modi. So then why make this video at this time? Especially when the BBC have nothing new to add to the controversy and the allegations that they talk about. And more importantly, why are Indians fighting about it when our Supreme Court itself says that there are no credible evidences to support a conspiracy by the then Gujarat Khan? See, I'm not saying that the riots did not happen, not saying that the Sabarmati Express was not attacked. I'm just saying that we do not have any proof as of yet to convict our Prime Minister Narendra Modi. But as we know, the BBC documentary is all about raising allegations, the same old allegations against Modi. Now this one is even weirder. This episode examines a track record of Narendra Modi's government following his re-election in 2019. A series of controversial policies, removal of Kashmir special status, Article 370, and a citizenship law that many said treated Muslims unfairly, has been accompanied by reports of violent attacks on Muslims by Hindus. When did Hindus attack Muslims during the CAA protests? I could be forgetting it, I don't know, but I don't remember. Modi and his government reject any suggestions that their policies reflect any prejudice towards Muslims. But these policies have been repeatedly criticized by human rights organizations such as Amnesty International. That organization has now closed its offices in Delhi following the freezing of its bank accounts in connection with an investigation into financial irregularities, according to the Indian government, a charge rejected by Amnesty. Maybe they were really closed down because of financial irregularities and fraud, not because they spoke against Narendra Modi or the government. I mean, how does BBC know that it is because of the fascism of Narendra Modi when there are also a lot of other organizations working in this country who criticize the government? How does BBC know that this organization is clean? Of course, they don't claim that in their documentary. If you saw the documentary, you will see that as good journalism goes, they must just be throwing allegations and assumptions and supposed things. Just passing allegations because maybe it feels good to see a country burn on the day it celebrates its democracy. I really don't see any other reason why BBC would make this documentary at this time, other than the supremacy of some Western countries and their constant need to stir up conflicts in the so-called third world countries to maintain the power that they hold. Now, I sound like a neo-Marxist, but still. So, I would urge Indians to not fight over a foreign-made thing on the day that we got democracy and our constitution was signed. Well, the celebration of that. On that note, I'm ending this video by sharing Anil Antony's tweet, who was severely attacked by his own party members for making this tweet. The same party that stands for freedom of expression and freedom of speech, and the party whose leader is traveling across India to create bond between people and to mend all the problems. And now Anil Antony has resigned. Despite large differences with BJP, I think placing views of BBC, a British state-sponsored channel with a long history of India prejudices, and of Jack Straw, the brain behind the Iraq war, over Indian institutions, is setting a dangerous precedent will undermine our sovereignty. Please tell me in the comment section what you think about this entire problem. I hope you liked this video. If you did, don't forget to hit the like button and please subscribe to this channel for more content like this. If you're interested to read a very good book based on a coming of age story in a world of drugs, chaos and violence, please check out my new book. I will share the links in the description. Share this video with others and follow me on my Instagram and Facebook pages. The links are given in the description. Thank you and have a great time.